Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, you can discuss finances, you can discuss entrepreneurship, you can discuss your present and your future, you can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families, dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. So we are here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, right here live in the FijiWater.com sponsored studio. 3D is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock. The water then collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app to support the broadcast, and those of you who have made a monthly commitment by giving on the contribution page of our website at newlifeministriesinternational.com, and those of you who continue giving on our app at New Life-Delaware, we thank you for your commitment and your support as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here to address whatever topics are important to you, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. So I'm going to remind all of our listeners and viewers, this is coming up on the last week of the nutrition counseling promotion. So you have the opportunity to win a free nutrition counseling program with Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, BeccaTheDietitian.com, and all you need to do is listen daily, as you all do, to the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. Find the key word or the key phrase. When you hear them, once you hear the key word or key phrase, all you must do is email me at newlifepastor@comcast.net or text on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. So you send the email or text the keyword or key phrase and your contact information. One listener or viewer will be selected to receive a nutrition counseling program with Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, BeccaTheDietitian.com, who is our monthly contributor, who is here with us the first Thursday of every month. So the first week of July, you will receive your first initial assessment and session. And then once per month, every month for the remainder of the year, you will receive a nutrition counseling session with Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist. This is to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to be whole in their body, mind, and spirit. So, for the remainder of this year, you will have nutrition counseling. And she will make herself available by email support. At the end of the year, the first week of January, we're going to invite you to come onto the broadcast, to call in and talk about your experience and to talk about the progress you made in your health and wellness. So this is a good opportunity for all of us to really have our own nutritionist, but you have to do your part. and that is to continue listening to 3D daily, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So you listen daily and email or text the keyword or key phrase. I'm going to address some communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been dealing with self-centered people for a very long time. And you want to know, how do you create boundaries that keep you from being frustrated dealing with them? So let me begin by saying this. First of all, you have to pick and choose those people that you want to deal with, first of all. That you even want to give that energy to dealing with them if they're self-centered. Now, I can't tell you how many times I hear from people that they struggle with this particular topic. And the reality is that when you're dealing with other people, they're going to have their own personalities. And if you determine someone in your life to be self-centered, what you have to do is focus on you. You have to stop focusing on them and focus on yourself. They're going to be concerned about their needs and their wants. You're going to have to find it within yourself to be a little more concerned about your needs and your wants. Many of us suffer with trying to make sure that other people have a comfortable life, that other people have the opportunities that we have. But when people are self-centered and they refuse to look outside of themselves, then the boundaries that you set is just a boundary of focusing on you and not on them. Now, that might be a little difficult for you because all of your life, and God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life, that you have been focused for a very young age on the needs and wants of others. You're going to have to break that cycle. That is a cycle that you have allowed to be part of who you are, and certainly part of your personality. So let me break this down. You have spent your entire life, from a young age, concerned about the needs of others, and what you've allowed to happen is that people then place their wants inside the circle of their needs. So you have a hard time distinguishing between the needs of people and the wants of people. You have a very hard time distinguishing that. The problem is that people then manipulate and take advantage of your desire to ensure their needs are met. So let's talk about the needs versus the wants of others, so that you can also set up those boundaries. So first boundary is focus on you. That's the first boundary. The second boundary is learning to identify between the needs and the wants of others. So people need food, clothing, and shelter. They even have homeless shelters for disenfranchised people. So everyone knows shelter is a necessity. Food, clothing, and shelter. Okay. If you know someone is hungry, you don't ever want to let someone go hungry. There's a reason we give people the shirt off our back. If they're naked. We don't want people going without clothing. Clothing is a necessity, first of all, to adhere to the law, and second of all, to make certain that a person's body stays warm and covered so that we don't expose their nakedness. And lastly is shelter. Now, I talked about previously the needs of people. And I said, I will never see anyone go hungry. Even if I have to just bring you into my home and feed you. But I'm never going to see anyone go hungry. And obviously I'm not going to bring a stranger who I know nothing about into my home to feed them. But I will buy them food. I will, if nothing else, if they're hungry just for today, I will make sure that they eat today. I'm not going to see anyone go hungry. I'll buy them food. I may even take them to the grocery store and buy them groceries, or go and pick up groceries and deliver it to them if I know that someone's hungry. I'm not going to see anyone go hungry. If it's a family member or a loved one, if I eat, you eat from my table. It's just that simple. I'm never going to see anyone go without clothing. If someone were without clothing, then we're going to make certain that they have clothing. Meaning, and I'm not talking about taking them to the store and buying them Gucci and St. John and Louis Vuitton. I'm talking about making sure they have clothing that meet the need for whatever it is. If someone needs a coat, we'll make certain they have a coat. If someone needs a suit to go for a job interview, we'll make sure they have a suit to go for a job interview. But I'm talking about making certain someone has food, clothing, and if it's a loved one who tells me they have no more housing, that they had no housing, then if necessary, I'll take you into my home. If it's temporary, I'll put you in a hotel. But it can't be that I did things that were irresponsible that resulted in this situation. It can't be that, because that's not a need. You've been consumed with your wants for so long, it's caused detriment. It's disrupted the quality of your life. So let's be clear on what the needs are versus the wants. And anything that anyone tells you that they need beyond those needs, they are purely wants. So we have to now identify the needs versus the wants and make certain that we only get involved in the need and what that looks like. And then even then, we need to find out all of the dynamics that have led to this need before we, and I'm not going to get ahead of myself on Sunday sermons, but before we cast our pearls before swine. Having said that, you have to really focus on separating people's needs from their wants. And then once you've done that, you've established another boundary. And then, and only then, do you need to concern yourself about what self-centered people are saying, doing, saying, or the way they're living. Because they're self-centered. It's only about themselves. And what we don't want to do, once again, is interfere with what God is doing in their life. To develop them, to work to the next level, to get to the next level. Because that's going to be significantly important in getting to the place that God has appointed for their life, or hopefully going to the place that God has appointed for their life. Self-centered people are concerned about one thing, and that is self. And because they're only concerned about self, they're never going to maximize the fullness of God in all of their lives. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest and reliable 5G network. If you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, nor have you been for the previous 90 days, You may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated, your husband feels that you take him for granted, pardon me. He feels that you give your time and energy to everyone else, everything else, except for him. So your husband right now is struggling with the fact that he doesn't feel that you put any importance on his presence in your life. The truth of the matter is that both of you have the tendency to take one another for granted. Now, I'm not talking about being in a balanced relationship, balanced lifestyle, balanced relationship where you both are giving the same amount of attention to each other as you give to others. Because there are more people than just the two of you living in this life. Your husband right now feels like it's unbalanced. Yes, he does have a lot of responsibility, both personally and professionally. And you take on a lot of responsibility, both personally and professionally. So what happens outside of that is what now has him in his feelings. And one of the things I've often said is we have to take our emotions out of the equation. And so right now he's feeling taken for granted because he focuses on the responsibilities, whereas he feels that you're adding additional responsibility to your life personally and professionally. So let me say this to you. The problem is that society has taught him to believe in what society has framed as a relationship. You have the same tendencies, however, as long as you have some place to expend your energy, you don't focus on the emotional aspect. You're going to have to balance this thing out. Both of you are going to have to balance this out. Meaning that your husband is going to have to take his emotions out of the equation and realize that, this fictitious distortion of reality of what society has taught us to believe a marriage is supposed to look like is not realistic. It's not real. It's a fictitious distortion of reality. And at the same time, you can't focus all of your attention on him. He has to understand that. He has to be willing to allow you to be you also. But at the same time, you're going to have to stop. Whenever you have any additional time, you find something else to put on your plate. Opposed to just staying in the confines of my personal life and my professional life. I'm not talking about having other interests, You like to play tennis, your husband likes to play basketball. Okay. I'm not talking about having additional interests. I'm talking about adding additional responsibilities onto your plate. So that anytime you have an additional moment, an added moment to your calendar, you find something to add a new responsibility to fill that up. But then the problem becomes when you don't have the additional time, now you're overwhelmed. We've got to do a better job of managing our lifestyles. And when I say keeping this in balance, that's part of it. We have to do a better job of managing not only our time, but our lifestyles. So there's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be times in your life where you can take care of your personal life, manage your personal lifestyle, manage your professional lifestyle, and find time to do something additional that you enjoy doing. It can't become an additional responsibility because that time's not always going to be there. Because our personal lives and our professional lives are all consuming, there are going to be moments when you're not going to have that. There's going to be days when you're not going to have that additional time to do things. And there's going to be times when it's necessary to make adjustments in your schedule. And then if you have an additional responsibility, you're not going to be able to manage that. So we really have to recognize the importance of managing our lifestyle effectively and efficiently. And it appears that we have some technical difficulty and we have no sound today. So I'm going to say to all of our listeners and viewers, I will go through all of this once again. We have no idea what's going on here with the sound that is not giving us the opportunity to be heard. However, there is clearly a sound issue. I only became aware of that a moment ago, and we will do this broadcast all over again tomorrow. I am going to continue because I cannot shut down the broadcast from where we are right now, so I'm going to really continue what we're doing today, just so that we are staying in the flow. So it's really important that we all manage our lifestyle and that we actually manage our time and our lifestyle. And that's what I mean when I talk about getting in a perfect balance. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Nike Golf. Nike offers golf supplies to golfers to enjoy, experience, and enhance your game of golf. Go to nike.com/golf, type in the search bar golf. The great thing about Nike is that they have products that will keep us whole and well in our health and wellness. It provides us with supplies and equipment for all types of sports and athletic events. Nike.com/golf. And you'll find exactly what you need to enjoy and experience the game of golf. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your family is waiting for you to get married and have children so that your parents can enjoy grandchildren. There is so much pressure on you regarding this issue and you are simply not ready. Okay, so what you're going to have to explain to your parents, listen, is that you're not ready to have children. That you are genuinely not ready to have children at this time. And if you're not ready, that's not going to be good for their grandchildren. That's not going to be good for your children. Listen, anyone who's going to become a parent needs to be prepared to become a parent. Because parenting is a very all-consuming responsibility. You know, there's an old adage that says a child will keep their parents on their knees. And the reality is that is exactly where your children will keep you. Being a parent is a great responsibility. And if you're not ready to take that on, if your mindset is not at a level of maturity prepared to take on that responsibility, then your parents they need to know that and they need to accept that, because it's not only a great financial responsibility, it is a great emotional responsibility. Now, I know I'm always saying keep your emotions out of the equation, but when it comes to parenting, our emotional well-being is going to be significantly important. And we have to make certain that we are emotionally prepared to be a parent, that psychologically we are prepared to be a parent. Never mind the financial aspect of it costs $240,000 approximately to raise a child from birth until age 18, and that does not include sending them off to college. We've got to recognize the importance of being a parent so that we can be a good parent. And parenting never ends. That's what's really interesting, is that parenting, for parents who are engaged and involved, not spectators, parenting is a great responsibility, and it never ends. Now, I recognize that there are parents out there who are not engaged, who are not involved, parents who are spectators. But if you're not one of those, it's a big responsibility. And we have to recognize the large responsibility that God has assigned to our lives. So I want to encourage everyone in your family to recognize that if you're not ready to be a parent, then you're simply not ready. Hopefully, when you are prepared to be a parent, God will open your womb and bring forth a child that your parents can enjoy and that they can nurture, help you to nurture, to bring them to a place where they will enjoy a great quality of life. There is an assignment from God when you become a parent. And that assignment is to hopefully have the relationship where you will be able to ensure that they have a great quality of life, that your child has a great quality of life. Today's 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. The key phrase for today is Stars and Stripes Forever. Have a great day today. May God bless you. May God continue to keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. I look forward to being in your viewing environment tomorrow. I will post the keyword